Good morning everyone. Today is April 11, 2023. Magbasa na tayo ng ating history book guys. Sarili nating history, kapwa ko Filipino. History of the Filipino People by Agoncillo and Guerrero. Today is hanggang topic number 30 lang siya. Chapter 30. Hanggang chapter 30 lang dito. So, nandito na tayo sa selected references. Mga piling-pili na lang to guys. Mga buod na lang. Basa. Malapit na natin matapos konti na lang. After ng selected references index na so hindi na natin babasahin yun. Selected references, Chapter 2. There are numerous reading materials and subjects discussed in this chapter, most of which are for specialists. The following, however, contain less barbarous terms than many works on the subjects and may therefore be read by the uninitiated with much profit. Professor H. Otley Beyer's Early History of Philippine Relations with Foreign Countries, especially China, being an introduction to A. Arsenio Manuel's Chinese Elements in the Tagalog Language, Manila, 1948. This latter work is very helpful insofar as Chinese loan words in Tagalog are concerned, but some of its conclusions should be taken with a grain of salt. Beyer's The Philippines Before Magellan, Asia Magazine, October and November 1921 is helpful and throws light on some aspects of Philippine history before Magellan intruded into the Philippine scene. Beyer and Jaime C. de Pera's Philippine Saga, Manila, 1947, has a fine summary of pre-Spanish Philippines. Najib M. Salibish, The Origin of the Malayan Filipinos, Papers of the Philippine Academy, Volume 1, Part 1, Manila, 1912, contains important facts on the origin and ancient religions of the early Filipinos. T. Espardo de Tavera, El Sanscrito en la Lengua, Tagalog, Paris, 1887, lists Tagalog words of Sanskrit origin. History of Direct Indian-Filipino Contact Log Species, however, Gigonda's scholarly work Sanskrit in Indonesia, Nagpor, 1952, traces words of Sanskrit origin in the Philippine and other Austronesian languages. Juan R. Francisco's Indian Influences in the Philippines in Philippine Social Sciences and Humanities Review, Quezon City, University of the Philippines, Volume 28, numbers 1, 2, 3, January-September 1963 may be read with profit, but the reader is warned to tread lightly, for it has some manholes. Some aspects of Philippine-Chinese relations are discussed in Berthold Laufer's The Relations of the Chinese to the Philippine Islands, Smithsonian Miscellaneous Collections, Volume 50, Part 2, Publication Number 1734. Those interested in pursuing the subject further may consult the following: Hurt and Rachel's translation, Chao Jiaokua, his work on the Chinese and Arab trade in the 12th and 13th centuries, entitled Chu Fanche, St. Petersburg's 1912. Chao Jiaokua's work is also found in Volume 34 of Blair and Robertson in the Revista Histórica de Filipinas, number 12, in the periodico Hebdomadario Escolar, November 9, 1901, and in an edition by Paul Stengel. Still on the same subject, W. W. Rachel's translations of Wang Taiyuan's Tao Ichi Liu, the original of which was published in 1349, is valuable. It is reprinted in Craig and Benitez's Philippine Progress prior to prior to 1898, Manila, 1916. A good description of Chinese pottery in the Philippines is found in Fake Copper Calls Chinese Pottery in the Philippines, Chicago, 1912. On this subject, the recent Calatagan discoveries are important. They are found in Robert B. Fox, The Calatagan Excavations, Philippine Studies, Volume 7, Number 3, August 1959, and in the same authors, The Philippines in Prehistoric Times, Manila, 1959. A popular work on foreign influences in Tagalog is Teodoro M. A popular work on foreign influences in Tagalog is Teodoro A. Agoncillo's Our National Language. The Herald Magazine, March 28, 1953. On similarities between Philippine and Indian customs and customs, Tara Alibaig's Sisters Under the Skin, Saturday Mirror Magazine, October 2, 1954, is very enlightening. Dhirendra Nath Roy's The Philippines and India, Manila, 1930, contains some observations on similarities between India and Philippine customs and superstitions. The story of the 10 Bornean datos who came to the Philippines is found in Jose Soncoya's Historia Prehispana de Filipinas, Manila, 1917. In its early years, the Philippines before Magellan located in Pedro Monteclaros, Maragdas, Iloilo, 1907. English translation by Manuel Carrion in Philippine Review, Volume 2, Numbers 5 and 6. July and August 1944, and another translation, mimeograph by Eva B. Bayoneta, Manila Bureau of Public Schools, 1959. Father Thomas Santaren's Spanish translation of the Bornean story was translated into English by Enriqueta Fox, Sarawak Museum Journal, Volume 7, Number 7, 1956. Tom Harrison's Bisaya, Borneo, Philippine Impacts of Islam, and R.A. Boucher's Visayan Accounts of Early Bornean Settlement in the Philippines, recorded by Father Santaren, Sarawak Museum Journal, Volume 7, Number 7, 1956, supplement the accounts concerning the Bornean datos on races in the Philippines and Southeast Asia. The following may be consulted: Manuel Anton's articles in the section Anthropologia in Exposition Filipina, Madrid, 1887. Its early years, population of the Philippine Islands in 1916, Manila, 1916. David Barrow's article in the Census of 1903, Volume I, Ferdinand Blumentrit's List of Native Tribes, Report of the Smithsonian Institution. Ulitin ko guys List of Native Tribes, Report of the Smithsonian Institution, 1897. Rodolph Virchows. The Peopling of the Philippines, reprinted in Craig's The Philippines Through Foreign Eyes, Manila, 1916, and a few others such as Alfred Wallace, L.R. Sullivan, Montano, Sanchez, Jose, and MacDougall, and Baring God, and Bumfildy, whose works are difficult to come by in the Philippines today. Chapter 3. Philippine culture before the coming of the Spaniards has been described by many authors, particularly Spanish. The most important ones considered as standard references are Francisco Colin's Labor Evangelica, Madrid, 1663, edited and annotated by Pablo Pastiles, Barcelona, 1900 to 1902, in 3 volumes. The English version of Colin is found in Blair and Robertson's The Philippine Islands, Cleveland, 1903 to 1908, Volume 40. Juan de Plasencia's Las Costumbres de los Tagalos, ca. 1589, in Blair and Robertson, Volume 7. Miguel de Lorca's Relación de las Islas Filipinas in Blair and Robertson, Volume 16. Another English version, the first is found in Sir Henry of Alderley. Henry A.J. Stanley, published in London in 1868 as a volume in the Hakluyt Society series. Results edition of Morga 1890 is inferior to that of Britannia. The works of such priests as Santa Ines Delgado, San Agustin, and others are helpful but not easily available. For available secondary sources, Jose Soncoya's Historia Prehispana de Filipinas, Manila, 1917 is good. It discussed the early history and customs of the Visayas, particularly those of the island of Panay. A brief but perceptive study of the ancient Filipino culture and society is found in Robert B. Fox's Prehistoric Foundations of Contemporary Filipino Culture and Society. Comment first quarter number 5, 1958, and in the same authors the Philippines in prehistoric times. For an anthropological approach to Filipino culture, see F. Landa Jocanos, Rethinking Filipino Cultural Heritage in Lipunan, Volume 1, Number 1, 1965, page 53 to 71. The same authors Questions and Challenges in Philippine Prehistory, Quezon City, University of the Philippines, 1975, disputes Bayer's theory of Malay migrations to the Philippines and sets forth his own theory. Jocanos' theory appears to have a better basis than the hitherto accepted theory of the late Bayer. The early religions of the Filipinos are discussed in Isabelo de los Reyes' La Religión Antigua de los Filipinos, Manila, 1909. Fernando Blumentritt's Diccionario Mitológico en Retanas Archivo del Bibliopilo Filipina, Madrid, 1896, Volume 2, and Sir Edmondi del Vique's Religion and Morals of the Early Filipinos at the Coming of the Spaniards, Manila, 1928. A popular work on the Muslim marriage custom is found in Elena Maramag's Muslim Courtships and Wedding Customs. The Manila Times, Section B, October 5, 1959. The introduction of Islam in the Philippines is discussed in Najib Salibi's The History of Sulu, Manila, 1908, and Studies in Moro History, Law and Religion, Manila, 1905. Bukas na itong chapter 4. Bye everyone. God bless.